So the fun thing about this is because I'm doing 3 square one solves, I have the potential of having every kind of situation, parity, trials and tribulations with that. So let's start off with the green and blue one. First step is to get it into the square form. Now the technique that I use is I try to bunch as many of these up as possible, especially when I see a series of 2. Now ultimately what I'm going to want to get, and I mean 2 edges, even numbered edges. But ultimately I'm going to try to get 5 in a row, because if I get 5, I get what I call the fishtail, which are 2 edges and 2 corners next to each other. That's actually what this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this set of 2 and move it next to this over here. I'm going to move this in like so. So I'm going to take these 2 and move it next to this so I can have 2. And I still maintain my fishtail formation. 1, 2. Okay, so I have 4, and then I have what appears to be 2 here and 1 here, and 1 over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these 2. When you get something that's edge, corner, edge, you want to prevent that from happening as much as you can, because we can't move it here, but we can move this from here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this up to create 5. Create 5 when you can. You'll be able to in any way, because these 2 constitute 1 corner. So if these 2 constitute 1 corner, then you can always shift around and you'll never run into trouble. You'll only run into trouble if you try to dissect between 2 even ones. So I'm going to take this and move it up to here. And you're about to find out why I'm going to do that, because when I do that, I've got 5 and I can create a fishtail here. The second I can do that, create a fishtail and bring it down, I'm going to bring it down to here, but at the same time I'm going to turn this set of even ones and gear it to where this can come up and join with this even 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I get 5, I can create a fishtail here, which is 2 edges, 2 corners, move it up here, and we're good. Because now that I have this long stream of even numbered ones, 6, I can move this here where I create a whole line, and then this fishtail becomes a line where I can turn, and there it is. So I get this entire fish. When I have that, now I'm ready to proceed to turn it into a square. So I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to bring it down to this little flower formation here, like so. So now everything's going to be symmetric. Turn it like this, and turn it like this, so that I've dissected right in between my edges and my corner, like so, and get this butterfly formation. 2 corners, 2 corners, 2 edges, 2 edges. This comes down at the side so that you're dissecting down the plane of the edges. This comes to the length, so you're dissecting down the plane of the corners, and then move it back. Now you get the shield. We're 1 move away from turning it back to a cube. If I move it like this, so that it's facing the same direction, bang, I've got my cube. Now the problem is I've kind of messed up my 2x2. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and double turn it like this. When I do that, and they're actually opposite, I end up with the shields right back again. So now I'm going to turn this over here, bring it in, and my center is fine, and now I've got all of these back in the square form. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to abandon this for a second and do the same thing with the other side, since that's always the first step. So I've got 2 evens, I've got an even and 2 odds. When I see that, let's match up our evens, which should be easy to do. I'm going to create 4, so I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to take these evens and move it to this. Okay. Nope. Yeah, Kersplat. Whoop, miscalculated. Gotta go like this. There. Kersplat. So I've got 4. Now that I have that, I've got a string of 3. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 1 and move it into here to make 5, just like before. As soon as I've made 5, I can go to the ends here and get my fishtail. turn this over here. I only have one option left, and that's two edges on the other side, which is right over here. So I'm going to take this and, whoops, got to move it to the right place. Move it over here, so I've got my entire string here. I know my fishtail is on the other side. Take this tail, put it onto the head. So now I've got this, so now I'm in the same boat, same situation. So let's turn it into a square. Turn over here, this comes up here, and this set of edges comes here to face this set of edges, and we simply bring it back. Here's our butterfly. Dissect down the plane of the edges, dissect down the plane of the corners, and bring it down. We have our shield. Bring this here, stand this over here so that they're facing the same way, and bring it back, and there's our square. So, that was so much fun. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did we happen to get lucky with this one? And 2. Yep, we got very lucky with this, because now all we have to do is put our evens with our even. Turn this like so, and turn it in. See, so that's already there. Move this here, turn it back. So we've got this formation. Move this here, turn it like so, turn, and in. We've got our shields. Now, all the colors are the same here, so if I turn it into a cube now, it's not gonna, these are gonna be off. My 2x2 is gonna be off, so let's turn it back into a shield, double turn it here, and turn it in. So all of our squares are now back. So now I'm going to continue to follow suit. Well, the next step is let's put all the corners of the same color. This is fine over here. I'm going to do this cuboid style. So this is yellow, yellow over here. I'm looking for the yellow and green. It's not this. It must be over here. So this is going to come down to here. Everything is primed. So the way that you move a corner swap from here to here is you go, first match it up to our up. And the thing is we have to make sure that they're facing the proper way, that they're primed the proper way, so that you maintain your square form. To our U, to our UI, to our. Predictably, this will put this exactly where it needs to be. It creates placement issues here. Just turn this around over here and take my remaining orange and yellow rather and put it down here. To our U, to our UI. Now don't worry about this quite yet because it's always going to come back to our. So all of these corners are in. They're all in it the right way. Now to put this in, as I look for two corners that are placed, which is this, move it to the left, and cuboid style do an adjacent corner swap. Which isn't really an adjacent corner swap, as we've learned. This stays the same, this moves here, this moves here, this moves here. So it looks like it swaps, but it's just a trick. And that's going to be things being primed here. By primed, I mean set up to where they're not all facing the same way. These two aren't the same way, because if I do, I'll shapeshift. And we're done with that, unless I have parity. To our U, to our UI, to our UI, D, to our UI, to our U, to our. So now all of our corners are in, and these are of the same color. So the next step is I want to put all of the edges of the proper color. They don't have to be oriented. They don't have to be placed where they're supposed to be, but the same color has to be here. I put all the corners in. But the unique part of the solution of the square one is what to do about the edges. So to do this, there's a unique algorithm that's used. In this particular configuration, I have one in and one in over here. And what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to swap these two and these two. The two fronts and the upright with the bottom left. What I'm going to want to do is have two that are at right angles to each other. So I need to retain this here. Make sure that I'm substituting it at least with another one of these. So this is going to come here, this is going to come here. We're okay with that because I still have yellow here, but this yellow is going to come up to here. And we're okay with that because then both of them are going to be at right angles. This white's going to come down here to match this. This is going to come here to exchange with this, so I'm going to have this at right angles, and that's what I want. So what this algorithm is, hold it in this configuration. This is as close to the square one configuration as possible. And we prime the bottom, then do a 2R, then DI, 2R, unprime the bottom. Prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R, unprime the top. Prime the bottom, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R, unprime the top. So indeed we have this over here at right angles and this over here. So now if we reason this out, if I put this over here, these two are going to switch and these two are going to switch. And all will be right with the world. The same algorithm. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom. Prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R, unprime the top, and there you have it. Everything is fine from top to the bottom. Now if we were to move on, now we have to permute these guys around. And what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to swap these two and swap these two. So let's take a look. This is also where we see if we have the dreaded parity. So swapping these two won't do any good because they won't be in. Let's move this like so. This will come to here and at least we'll have the blue one in. Here, well, we want to get this out of the way. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you get two solid ones next to each other. So basically this is in and this is in. That's not what we want. So what I need to do is I need to just swap this. It's not going to do anything, but it'll break this over here because you can't have it opposite. I have no way of flipping these two. Do any of you? Anyway, so let's just go ahead and do that algorithm and see what happens. So it starts off very similar. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom. Prime the top, 2R, but now we don't do a 2U, we do a D, just skip to that point, 2R, unprime the top. And now we have to get these and these back, so we go prime the bottom, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, unprime the top. So the end result is good. This was taken out, this is in, and so we're good. Now this is good because I don't have parity. Both of these have just one that's in. So now I'm going to move this here because I want to move this orange to here. I don't want to do it like this because then this green is going to end up here and I'm going to have two in that are opposite in a square one solve. Don't do that. So this will come here. And I want to set this up to where either a green one is going to be here or this blue is going to come here to be next to this red one here. So exactly the same algorithm, just plug that right in. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2D, and we're good. So now all we have to do is move these two in, hold it over here, get these two, here, and get these two. Once again, this algorithm is very fast. Prime the bottom, 2R, D, I, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, and we're done. So this top and bottom square one is solved. Let's move on to these guys. Same pattern. This is supposed to be orange, so let's set up an orange here. I want the orange and blue, which is here, so that's not going to do me any good. Orange and white, which is right over here. So we're going to do a corner switch here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, Have some placement issues here, but not to worry. Also here too. So this is in, this is not in. So this orange is going to get set up over here where this green can come in with this. So we have 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. This is in and this has been returned. Okay, now I have one more here. Now the problem is when I place the other one, this is going to be placed wrong. So I'm going to place a dummy one in first. Well, no, actually I've got a way of getting out of that. So this orange is going to come down to here. Whoop, but not shape-shifting, please. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. Okay, so all this is in. So this is all fine. And what's interesting is that these corners happen to accidentally come in. Now what am I going to do about this? Well, I'll do an adjacent edge swap, knowing I'm not really swapping any edges, but I will get these back. The benefits of just having corners and no real edges. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, and just like magic, this is returned back, this is returned back. So now, what do I do about this case? Well, this is already in. All these edges are magically in. So to get these in this configuration, I'm going to have 3 in here and 3 in here. So I'm going to do an algorithm that basically swaps these two with these two. This is at the end of that very last algorithm that we did. Prime the bottom, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, unprime the top. The quickest of algorithms. Now I have the same configuration as before. Move this over here. Move this over here so that I can get everything at right angles. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the bottom, and finally prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R. And unprime the top. We've got this configuration. Move this into place and do our proper exchange. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R. Unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R. Unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R. So this is in, and that's the only one. So the other turn of the algorithm shall, remember, don't put two in opposite each other. I don't have a way of getting out of that, but this yellow will come to here, which is just fine. This is in, and once again, no parity. We're getting all kinds of lucky with this super simple solve. This green to this green to be next to this. That what? Oh, my third hand struck again. Very funny. Anyway, boy, that really did mess me up. Okay, so turn this here, prime the bottom, 2R. Am I the only one with a third hand that does that? D, I, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, no? 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R. All right, all too easy. These two get swapped, and these two get swapped. Prime the bottom, (2R), DI, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2D. Okay, so now this is done. So statistically speaking, I should run into trouble with this. This is way too easy of a solve. I'm getting no parities. And as a matter of fact, these corners can just slip very nicely into this. Which means all I got to do is go like 2R, 2U, 2R. So this is all in and all the corners are in. Now I just got to get this in. I've got two corners here, so I'm going to do an adjacent corner swap. R. Okay, so corners are in, so now we got to get these guys. We have this particular configuration, easily fixed. 2R. Okay, right angles, and that's what I want. This will come over here, and then all will be right with the world, I think. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, and prime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, 2U, 2R, and prime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, and now D, 2R, unprime the bottom, 2R, there, here, here. Okay, so now what? So, are they going to give me some parity for a change? Give me some excitement, action, adventure? So, all right. This red, nope. Don't want to do it like that. We'll do it like this so that this red can come over to here. And here we don't have any that's in. So I think we have a potential parity situation. Or maybe not. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do it. Prime the bottom. 2R, DI, 2R. Unprime the bottom, prime the top. 2R, D, 2R. Unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R. Aha! At long last, we have parity. So these two are out and these two are in. So notice this whole puzzle is pretty much solved except for these two. So we have ourselves some bona fide parity going on. So we're going to fix it. And how do we fix it? Well, we have to take it out of the shape-shifted. We have to take it out of the native form and once again shape-shift it. Because it was our shape-shifting portion back to the reduced non-shape-shifted form that was put in wrong. So to do this, keep it in the unprimed form with both, do a 2R, and get our shields. Now just keep doing counterclockwise rotations to the top and to the bottom. So counterclockwise, laying this down to the side, laying this to the side as well, do another 2R. Another 30-degree counterclockwise like this, and 30-degree counterclockwise like this. So I want one corner's worth and one edge's worth, both butterflies flying down and to the right, and another 2R. We have all corners on one side, all edges on the other side. Turn this counterclockwise here so that we're bisecting a corner through the corner of the edge. Turn this clockwise over here for the same, and double turn. We have ourselves a flower pattern and a lemon pattern. To get us out of the parity, we just go one click, or one 30-degree segment right here, and that'll take us out of our parity, and we just do another double turn. Now that we've done that, we mosey it on the other way. Bring it back to the center here, bring this back to the center, bisecting between two edges and two corners. Bring it in. We've got this, another tiny counterclockwise rotation to bisect through here, and a counterclockwise rotation to bisect through here, and 2R. And now we've got our shields back, counterclockwise turn over here, counterclockwise turn. We'll get our square back. Now, to bring it back, blue's on top, blue, yellow, and orange. Here's my blue and yellow. Simply turn this over here, so that this is going to match up to here. When I do that, this whole thing is going to be blue, which is what I wanted. Move this over to here, take this, move this over to here, and turn it in. So now we have all that. So this is in, and I've just got to switch these two, and our parity should be taken out. So we're going to go ahead and go through the process again. This orange will come to here, this will come here. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2D. This is in, but this isn't in as of yet. We've got this guy here. Do it again so that this orange will come over to here. And another turn of this quick algorithm, prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the top, prime the bottom, 2R, unprime, prime, and 2R. So you can see we're in sync. These are out, and then I have one more pair that's out. Bring it to the back side, and now put them in. Prime the bottom, 2R, DI, 2R, unprime the bottom, prime the top, 2R, D, 2R, unprime the top, and we do this and we are done. So now we're all synced. Now I've done it before where each and every one of these separate square one solves turn out to have parity, but it's really not a big deal. So basically this is a good way of doing a 2x2 solve and either doing a supercube center solve like we found with these guys, or just separate square one solves. You could have done cuboid solves, separate cuboid solves with these guys too. But in any case, there you have it. Just wanted to demonstrate this puzzle over here, which I don't know if you can get from a Shapeways shop. I'll put a link to it anyway. But a very fun variation of the square one puzzle. Very fun variations are these cross cubes over here as well. So that may be the last square one type puzzle that I might do until the next one comes. Thanks for watching.